Good afternoon, everyone. So today we are going to discuss about computer graphics. So in the computer graphics, we are going to discuss about function of graphic system. So there are some five common functions are there. That is the generation of graphic element, transformation, display control and windowing functions, segmenting, and user input functions. So we will see one by one. In the generation of graphic element, it is computer graphics is base image entity like a dot, line, as well as circle, etc. So these graphical elements also include the alphanumeric character like some special symbols like a special lines. Okay, so these are all the things it will include, and also 3D primitives refers like primitives such as sphere, cube, and cylinders. Okay, so these primitives are used to building the block and constructs the three-dimensional model. Then comes into the transformations. Whatever we are going to be created, it has to be transformed. Like we want to rotate, so that it has to be done over here. And if you enlarge the distance or enlarge the size of the component or reduce the size of the component, so that it has to be done in the this transformations. Then comes into the display control and windowing functions. So these functions are helps the user to view the image from the desired angle and at the desired magnification. So the zooming in option and rotating. So for our required option, we have used for rotating the component. So those things are done with help of this display control and windowing functions. And display control uh, is to be remove the hidden lines, and once the hidden line has to be removed, concept in which the images has to be divided into visible and invisible lines. Okay, so the hidden lines it has to be removed means, so the solid parts it can uh, clearly view over here. Then comes into the next function, segmenting function. So it is provide the capability of selectively replace and delete or modify the portions of the image. So usually to delete the particular area and remove, and we can add replace. So those things you can done with help of this segmenting functions. So this will be segmenting means it is the some particular portion of the image. So if the big component, if a particular area we want to see or view means, so that will be done with help of this one. And it cannot be used in the storage tubes, as there will be no selective erase over here. And if the image to be modified, the entire screen must be redrawn with the changes incorporated over here. Then comes into the user input functions. So in this one, these are the functions which help the user to enter the commands. The input function must be written for specific input devices. So it may be like a specific input devices, uh, like a line command, and so like those things. Okay, so these input functions are defined such a way that even the user without any programming experience can also work effectively. That's what with the help of the line, circle, as well as so, uh, and a dot and erase. So with the help of those commands, even the people they are not knowing the program also, they can work in the particular systems over here. So this is about the functions of the graphic package. Next one, constructing the geometry. Uh, in that uh, graphic elements. So the graphic system constructs the geometry out of graphic elements. These elements are called by the user during the construction process and added one by one and create the model. Suppose if like want to create any of the model, means even in the single step we could not able to complete it. So first we are going to draw the basic step. So the basic drawing view. After that the other steps to be involved to add the materials. The smaller things has to be added over here, like the component has to be created over here. After that we are going to make the assemble. Like that it will be constructing the geometry in the graphic element. Then comes into the next step, defining the graphic elements. The particular graphics elements called several ways. These elements stored in the form of mathematical database, mathematical models in the database. If example for in this one, if you want to create the line command, it requires increment in the x and y directions. Okay, so those distance, if you know, we can create the line over here. Same like arc, if it want to know the center point and radius and starting point of the arc and ending point of the arc, so that will be defining the graphic elements. Okay, so the next one in the constructing geometry is the next step, methods of defining the geometric elements. So that is the first. In that first one will be the points. So points to the location screen by means of cursor control. We can control by the cursor or entering via the alphanumeric characteristics, or by the offset, or by the coordinate system, or by the interaction of 2 points, and locating the fixed points according to the fixed intervals. Then comes into the lines. First we have discussed about the points previously. The next we are going to discuss about the lines. So lines, how we can create with the use of the same cursor and also with the help of the coordinate points, and between the two intersection points, and using the making the line either normal or tangent curve. So like that we are going to define the lines. Then comes into the arcs and circles, specifying the center and radius, and also it will be center and point on the circle, and making the curve pass through previously defined points. Like suppose some 3 points means first point, second point, 3 points. Like that, if you joining this point, the arc has to be created. Like curved manner, if you join them. So like that, we can define like and also it has to be created by the 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. So in between, along with the tangent, the arc or circle has to be created over here. So like that, the arcs and circles has to be created over here. So the next one will be the editing the geometry. So want to delete the part, or copy the part, or mirror the part. So everything we can done, either it may be a trim, scaling, all those things we can done with here, and with help of this the adjustment we can make over here with help of this entity editing the geometry. And then comes into the next one, 2D transformations. So the 2D transformation means we can translate. First one will be the translations. So this involves the element transfer from the one location to the another location. Suppose here line is there, this lines we can move from this particular point to the some other position. So for that, this translation has to be used over here. Okay, then comes into the rotation. Suppose if you take down, same line is there, means we can rotate this line into the certain angle. So that line, it will be in the horizontal direction, we can move into the certain angle, like in this manner. For that, it requires the certain angle over here, so that we can move it. Then comes into the next one will be the scaling. Suppose if you want to make the 2 mm line, this has to be converted into the 4 mm means that we can move with the help of the scaling option. So the okay, so it will not only move the 2 into 4 mm. So n there are different shapes. You can change the line or arc or those things. You can increase the size or reduce the size with the help of the scaling option. The next transformation is the homogeneous transformations. So these transformation matrices for rotation and scaling are multiplicative type, where is the transformation matrix for translation additive man time. It becomes necessary to combine the transformations to achieve the required result. So with the help of quick time, it has to be add the two elements. Okay, so then comes into the next one, constant concatenation transformations. So it is the previous single transformation can combined as a sequence transformation. This is called concatenations. The previous transformation has to be combined in the sequence transformation, that is concatenation transformations over here.